Hi everyone, this is We324 from We324 servers, and today I'm going to show you how to make just basically a simple Garrysmod server. It's very easy. All the downloads that I talk about, their links will be in the description. So here we go. This is called the HLDS. I forget what it stands for. Oh, here we go. Half-Life Dedicated Server Update Tool. Sorry. This is going to help you install all the main files you will need for your server. So we're going to go ahead and hit next. Agree, no one ever reads that. Change this right here, the destination folder, hit browse, to just shorten it to where it looks like that. This should make a folder in your main drive called HL server. That's going to be the main folder that we're going to be working with today. So just yes, you would like to install that directory. So just hit next. Yep, go ahead and hit next. This is very important. This will decide, it's asking where your server is located. This will decide what people are going to view your server, whether on the East Coast or the West Coast. So hit that accordingly. I'm on the East Coast, so I'm just going to leave it there. You don't need this. And you're not going to need the readme because I'm going to tell you everything you need to do. Alright, so now we're going to go to that folder that we just made. Okay, sorry for the cut in the video here. But so your next step after you go to this folder is you are going to type this into Notepad. Don't worry about typing this in. This will be included in the description. So just copy and paste this in here. Now you're going to go to File, Save As. The important thing is to undo this and then just hit All Files. Name it whatever you want, just something that you'll remember. So just Gmod updater. What this is going to do is it's going to tell the server program to download all the files necessary to run the server specifically for Garrysmod. You also use this tool if you need to update your server. There's sometimes it'll force you to update your server. All you have to do is run this again and it'll just do it for you. So save this to the Half-Life folder on your local disk. Make sure to save it. Try not to include any spaces. That usually doesn't work. Make sure to hit .bat at the end of the file name. So then just save there. Now what you're going to do is when you click that, it'll show up like this. It's going to check what version you have. Then it's going to know that you don't have that installed, and it'll just start downloading all the files for your server. Note that this will most likely take upwards 10-15 minutes depending on your internet connection, so grab a drink. It makes time go by faster. Again, you can see how slow this is going. So we'll come back and I'll show you how the whole directory is supposed to look. Alright guys, so we're back. This is a copy of what I use on my server, but just on my USB drive. Remember, it's supposed to look like that, not this. But the whole file system, root folder and everything, should look like this. Don't worry about Half-Life 2. You most likely are never going to use that folder while you're running your server. So hit orange box. CS Strike Episode 2 aren't going to be in there. Those are extra things added on my server. What we're basically going to look for is the Garrysmod folder. As long as that's in here and it looks pretty much remotely like this, you should be good to go. You also have this right here. This is the execution for your server. This is what's going to make it run. The problem with this is if you just use this, it's going to have a very dumbed down version of what you can use. So using the same method that we use to make our update gmod.bat, opening it up in Notepad and saving it, we're going to do this. And what this will do is not only will let you open up a server console, which will be very much easier to use. It's going to look like something out of the command prompt, but it'll also open up a backup program, so if you're never at your house or your server ever crashes without you knowing, in most instances it's going to restart it for you. So again, don't worry about copying and pasting this. I will have all the commands that you'll need to run your server in my description, so you'll just have to copy and paste this and make a .bat. And when you do that, it'll start looking like this. That's going to be the backup, and it'll start booting up like this. It's going to take an awful long time since, again, it's on my flash drive, but it'll just start loading. And the way that you know that it will work is it'll say connecting to Steam servers, Steam server VAC connection successful, something along those lines at the end, and you'll be able to actually type in something into the command prompt. There's one more thing that you have to do, which is the thing that throws off most people. It's port forwarding. What port forwarding does is it acts as a kind of messenger for information of your server. So what we're going to do is we're going to forward the ports necessary to do this on your router. So to get to it, get to the menu of your router, you're going to type in something pretty much this. It might be 0.0.1 or it might be 0.1.1. That's usually the only difference. Your router will most likely have a password. By default, sometimes it's just blank, so you can hit login, or sometimes it's just admin and then admin. But for me, I set up the security of my router, so I'm just going to go ahead and type that in here. So this is for a Linksys router. You should be able to do this with any other router, but go through your menu and see if you see something called port range forwarding. These are the ports you have to open up and have it directed to whatever local IP your server has. To find out what that local IP is, open up command prompt on the server. Type in IP config like that and hit enter. Now you won't have this much stuff, but you should have basically this. Look for where it says IPv4 address, and it'll be this. This is the folder, or I'm sorry, this is the address that you're going to have to port forward to. Please note that you're also going to have to give it a static IP, which is a pre-assigned IP to your server, or most routers now have it to where you can just reserve this IP for your for a computer. You're going to have to do this and then put in whatever IP you chose into the IP address bar. If the server changes local IP numbers or their address, port forwarding will not work. But make sure that you have each one of these ports just opened exactly like mine. Make sure you have enabled the right protocol, and you should be good to go. That will make people be able to join your server, and it should show up on the Steam server list. A good way to check is if you right click your Steam and you go to servers, it should show up in the top right here, which is actually my server. I'll leave the IP in there if you guys want to join it. We need more people, but if it shows up in here, people will be able to join it. If it only shows up in here, then people are probably not going to be able to join it. If people are not able to join it, make sure you forwarded all the ports correctly. Sometimes firewalls cause a conflict with it, so turn off your firewalls. I know it's scary for some, but you're probably going to have to do that if that's not working after you check all your ports. There's one more thing. You're going to go into your Garrysmod folder that was in the orange box area in Half-Life server, which we were just talking about. Go to the folder called config, and there's going to be, if there's not something like this here, feel feel free to make one in Notepad. You're going to go into Notepad. I will include also a predetermined set of configuration commands in the description. That'll just get you started. I'll also leave some notes on how to change things to your liking. But once you type in everything, you're going to again hit Save As, change the Save As type to All Files. Make sure to name it server.cfg and save it in the orange box, Garrysmod. I'm sorry, this is the wrong directory. Orange box, Garrysmod, and the config area. This will tell your server the settings that you want to have when it boots up. So after all of that, you should be good to go. I'll probably make some more tutorials on how to join our, or not how to join, different add-ons, like how to make your server run certain game modes, like Dark RP, for example. Just different types, the ones that you want. Maybe how to install an admin menu, or things like ULX, or some people use Assmod. What that does is it just helps let you be able to run your server as an admin. You'll have authority over guests, but don't abuse that, because there's way too many servers that have abusive admins on there. Just be nice to people. And again, I can't really do anything for your server not being very popular. When you're first starting out, don't expect that many people to join. There are some times my server's just gone on, 0 people for 2 days straight or something like that. So don't be discouraged. Keep on running it, help out the community. Have fun. Now you don't have to deal with abusive admins or minge bags. So that's a plus. Again, I'm going to leave the server, or my server IP, in the description. Join it if you feel so. We try to be very fair, very nice to our people. If you have any questions further, feel free to send me a private message through YouTube, and I'll try and get to them as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.